Hey, I'm Jonathan Good with Southeastern Land Group, and I want to talk to you today just briefly about a question that I get asked a lot when we deal with rural properties. People want to know about what rights and interests convey when they're buying land in Alabama. And one of the first things that we learned in real estate school, they talk about a bundle of rights. And I'll use this visual aid. They talk about a bunch of sticks in a bundle that represent the rights and interests when you purchase rural land. The bow represents the deed or the pretty package that everything comes in, how it's conveyed to the new owner. And so inside this bundle of rights, it can be seemingly endless. And one of the ones that we get asked about a lot in Alabama is the mineral rights. Do mineral rights convey when you make a rural purchase? People want to know, do the timber rights come with it? Out west, the water rights are really important. People want to know that they're going to have those. In New York City, if you're going to purchase a piece of real estate, it may be really important to know if you have the air rights. Can you construct a high rise on that particular piece of property? So when you buy a piece of land, you want to know what rights and interests you're getting in it. One of the ways that you find that out is to have a title exam done. And in our area, it's customary to go back 60 to 70 years in the chain of title and to make sure that it's clear, to make sure that you're going to get a merchantable title free and clear of any encumbrances to the new owner. Now, if you want to know more about a property, you have what's called an abstract of title done. And that goes all the way back to the patent from the state. From the time that the government transfers the property to private ownership, from patent to present, you have that title abstract done, and that can be several $1,000s if you want to know a full abstract. If you want to know specifically about the mineral rights, one of the only ways to know really is to have what's called a mineral abstract done. Now in Northwest Alabama, around Tuscaloosa County, they have a fantastic system for doing mineral abstracts. That's very common up there because 50 to 100 years ago, often the mineral rights were severed from a piece of property. That was very common because there's so much coal and methane and natural gas in that part of the state. So depending on where you are, you may want to have that mineral abstract done and spend the extra money to get to know what you're purchasing. But oftentimes what's done generally in a purchase contract, especially the ones that we deal with, most of the time there's a sentence in there that says that the property is being sold. All the rights and interests in the property are being conveyed from the seller to the purchaser at closing. So they're not necessarily representing what rights that they have, but everything that the seller owns generally conveys to the buyer. Now that's not always the case. Sometimes the seller will want to reserve a half a mineral interest or a quarter of an interest, something like that. You can generally work it out between the buyer and seller, but it's pretty important to know what rights you're getting. So when you have your title exam done, ask your attorney or ask the title company that's doing that to explain, say, hey, is there anything that you see that's being accepted, anything that's not being conveyed from the seller to the purchaser? And so you just want to understand that. Most of the time you'll be able to work it out, and oftentimes there's some middle ground that's good for everybody. But if you want to know, always have that checked. And like I said, there's a seemingly endless list. Recently, I've seen deeds that dealt with hunting rights. I've seen deeds that dealt with fishing rights. Saw one where you couldn't subdivide recently. Also saw one a couple of weeks ago that dealt with bingo parlors and convenience stores. So a deed in your source of title can reference a lot of different things, but you want to understand what's in your chain of title, what's in this bundle of rights. And so if you're dealing with a land broker, ask them what they know. If you're dealing with the seller directly, find out from them what they're going to convey, and then ask the attorney or the title company that's handling that for you what rights, if any, are being left out or accepted. EXEPTED, I think that's right. But always find out what's being included or excluded from the sale. So I appreciate y'all tuning in. As always, I'm not an attorney. If you've got a specific question, ask your attorney about that. But if I can be helpful with any of your rural land needs, please let me know. I'm Jonathan Good with Southeastern Land Group.